Hello and welcome to the Ram Jam. I'm Mark Conley, Chair of the Music Department here at the University of Rhode Island. We may not be in Paris, but it is April in Kingston, and that means it's time for jazz. So we hope you enjoy this jazz-filled show that we have prepared for you for today.
One, two, uh, uh, uh.
Hide your heart from sight, lock your dreams at night. It could happen to you. Don't count stars or you might stumble. Someone drops a sign down and you tumble. In ions spring blood, winter spells ring. It could happen to you. All I did was wonder how your arms would be, and it happened to Hide your heart from sight, lock your dreams at night. It could happen to you. Don't count stars or you might stumble. Someone drops a sign down and you tumble. In ions spring blood, winter spells ring. It could happen to you. All I did was wonder how your arms would be, and it happened. Yes, it happened. Yes, it happened to
So hello and welcome everyone. I'm here with Professor Emeritus Joe Perillo, who has a long and distinguished career with our department and with the university, and we're going to get into some of that. But I wanted to start out with the fact that you are sitting in a, to me, mighty fancy looking studio right now. Can you tell me a little bit about your setup there?
Okay, so I started setting this up maybe about 5 years ago. So I'm set up here to do my radio shows for WCRI every Friday. They're pre-recorded, and so I record those here. And then I've been doing some of my vocals. I'll even say that, admit that in front of you. So some of my vocals in my pop below here is a keyboard where I record a lot of things. To my right here, my right is my Steinway, set up with a couple of microphones. And then, so this is where I've been working for a while. I've been learning the software more and more as I go, and putting stuff a little bit out on the internet. And there's my really old Fender Rhodes piano back here from I think that's a 1973 Fender Rhodes. So I sit and play that nostalgically every once in a while, just for the fun of it. But yeah, I've been setting it up for a while and starting now to really know the software and things, and the editing and all that stuff. So it's been fun. But it really started out with doing the radio shows really first.
So the reason I asked is because last year when everything hit, which was your last semester last spring, but you were already way ahead of most of us because you had this really nice studio set up. So how did that work out for you in the spring in terms of what you were able to do with students in that final semester when things were shutting down?
Yeah. Well, in the final semester, it was good because I was able to get online right away
Right,
and really comfortably, and they could send me what they were working on, and I could listen to it and those kinds of things, and I'd send them back some things that I would play for them to listen to and do it that way. So it was good to be set up that way, and actually, I was also learning from some of the students as some of the software they were using and how they were editing and how they were recording. So there was a really nice exchange for me, um, in terms of how we would communicate with each other with some things, because we had a couple of undergraduate students and a graduate student too that really does a lot of this technology. So it was really nice to make that communication really connect and kick in that way, you know.
right. And I mean, it's interesting because of course, you teach jazz piano and you also teach composition. So I know people who teach instruments can't wait to get back face to face. I mean, it's really hard over Zoom. But for composers, it's actually in some ways, I think, a little better online because you can share your screen, you can share technology, you can do a lot of things. So it's been interesting. I wonder if composers are going to go back to the old way. I think maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, really, because you can actually, your preparation work in this kind of environment helps to actually really prepare things really well to listen to. And nowadays, it's everybody records everything. It's you're not just looking at it on the manuscript. And then even that, when you record it, you can print out the manuscript with a few edits here and there,
Right.
depending.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to make sure everyone, I mean, everyone who's watching probably is familiar with at least part of your career, but you've been involved with jazz for a long time, well, just overall, but also at the University of Rhode Island. So
Mhm.
we were talking a little bit before I started recording about your history with the program, and maybe you can sort of share a little bit of that with everyone who's watching.
Okay, so originally it started. I was playing with some friends around in Providence, and actually two of the people I was playing with were actually playing in the big band at URI. That Art Monica started back in the '70s,
Yeah.
maybe around '75 or so when he first got here.
Mhm.
Um, and um, and they said they need a piano player. Why don't you come down and audition? So okay, I'll come down. So 1970, I passed the audition, so that was good. So I was playing piano and in the big band in 1977. That Art had really started back then, and um, and then I kept playing in the band. Then I ended up actually playing an arts quartet over at the Newport Officers Club 4 nights a week. So then I moved closer out this way, and then I was playing with the Dixieland band, and the Lloyd Kaplan was actually the chair of the music department at CCRI,
Yep.
and he asked me to come and teach there in 1980. So I started teaching there in 1980 while I was still playing with Art Monica's band too,
Hmm.
and then in 1985, Ken Keeling, who was chair then. Whoa, okay, so I'm going back a way. He and Art got together and said, "Can you let's bring Joe on to do some teaching?" So I started teaching, and then a few years later, a couple of years later, I started actually directing the big band, and that's how it all started for me.
Well, and
Yeah,
it really grew over time. I mean, the jazz program has been very big and prestigious, but you played a large role in that, including establishing the degrees in jazz. I mean, I was trying to remember when that was. That was in the 90s?
yeah. So it was around 1997,
Yeah,
maybe
I think, yeah,
96, 97, 98, right there when we finally got the program, the actual degrees in place, the jazz degrees in place.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then the big band, which of course you directed for many years, goes to Newport on a regular basis. I mean,
yeah,
that's been a gig, a long-standing gig, actually.
yeah. Actually, the first year we actually played on the main stage, and the horn sections backed up Jamie Cullum,
Wow.
jazz
Yep.
jazz guy, singer, piano player, dancer, the
Yeah.
whole thing. But yeah, so that was a big year, especially for them, and we've been playing ever since. Every year, it's
Yeah.
been really great.
One, two, one, two, three.
So I mean that leads me to my next question. I mean, you have technically retired, but you haven't really retired from the scene. You've been teaching for us, you're doing the radio shows, you're continuing with your own playing. What are your upcoming plans in the near future? What are you looking at?
Okay, so I'm looking at two recording projects right now. Actually, a solo piano project because that was probably the best thing to do during this time.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been working on that and recording it, and critiquing myself. Having a couple of close friends, the recording engineer and stuff that'll do the editing and things. And we're going back and forth what we like, what we don't like, what we don't want to put out in public. What we're working through all that. So that's been fun and challenging. I've been working on classical piano duets with actually she graduated from I don't know what year, but she graduated from the master's program at URI, studying with Donald Rankin. Rena Anthony and I are playing classical duets together,
Yeah, okay.
and we're rehearsing those at the Music Mansion with the social distancing. So we're doing that, and she's dealing with me when I ask her things like, "Oh, you want to play Bach? What key?" So, and we kind of joke back and forth about things like that. It's been wonderful for me to really learn this and listen to other performers playing things, and so that's been fun. And should be back to hopefully monthly concerts at the Music Mansion starting next month in April, I hope. And we'll do the jazz concerts, the second Friday of the month. So I'll be doing that, and I hope to go back to Cardiff University.
Well, I'm sure you'll be playing in Cardiff, right? Because
That's yeah, we're
yeah,
working that
yeah.
out.
You started that the whole process trying to get us to have the exchange program with Cardiff, and at long last, it took a lot of hoops to jump through on all parts, but at long last, we
Good.
have it thanks to your initiative. So
Yeah.
students can now have an exchange between Cardiff University and our music department. So
Yeah,
we've had a couple of people who've wanted to do it, but obviously haven't been able to do it
right.
yet. But
Yeah.
it's coming for sure.
Oh
In
yeah.
both in each direction, URI wanting to go
That's
there, and people
that's
from
nice.
Cardiff wanting to come here.
Yeah,
So.
it'll be a wonderful exchange. I
Oh,
mean,
it sure
we
will.
both schools, both departments have something the similar and something very different to offer too.
Yep.
So it'll be really really nice exchange. I think.
Yeah.
Really, I'm really happy to see that happening, and the jazz program's still doing pretty well.
It's doing
Yeah,
extremely well, thanks
yeah,
to you.
yeah.
And I just wanted to say thank you. We never really had a chance. We've talked about this. We never had a chance because of the pandemic. We normally have a big honors banquet party and a thank you to anyone who might be retiring. And I made the announcement to the students and faculty. I was looking back on April 29th, and obviously that May, there was no way we could have a banquet. We were hoping to do it this year, but it's not quite loosened up enough that we can do that,
Sure.
and I don't think people would feel. So we're going to wait until people can really enjoy it, and so we're looking to do that in the fall at last, have a
Yeah.
chance to say thank you and honor 2 years worth of students who've won
Oh,
awards and haven't had a chance to be congratulated. So
yeah.
it's going to be a big party for us. And
Yeah. Well, I think everyone will really be ready for it and really want that. I mean, I would think you'd have a lot of people to come back, the ones that graduated in the middle of all this, and then another group's going to be graduating in the middle of it, and hopefully everybody else too.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If we can get it together, let's just hope we keep going in the
Yeah.
direction we're going, right?
That's it.
And then we can have this wonderful get together of alums, students, faculty. It'll be great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I want to, in this moment, I also want to thank you. And I know what it's like to be in those shoes, but not in some of the situations you've been dealing with. So, hang in there. I think you're hanging in there and you're doing a great job there. So,
well, we have a great group, don't we? I mean,
yeah, we do.
we're really lucky here that we have
Yeah.
a great group of faculty and students and staff to help us out. So
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Good. Yeah.
So
Glad you do.
I wanted to just have a chance to talk with you and say thank you publicly and congratulations, because as I said, we haven't had a chance to do that yet. And
Yeah.
Ram Jam's a great venue to do it. So
Yeah.
thank
Okay.
you very much for your time.
Well, thanks for setting it up too, and not forgetting, at least not yet.
We'll never
A few
forget.
more years.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So
No,
thanks so
it's
much.
great. Yeah. Thank you.
And we're gonna have some jazz in this show anyway, so we'll lead right into some. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All
Okay.
right, let's
Good.
get to it.
All right.
2, 3, 4.
Now you say you're lonely. You cried the long night through. Well, you can cry me a river
And that's our show for this week. Remember, if you're interested in finding out more about our department, whether you're thinking about coming here to study, or you're already here or in the community and you want to learn more, remember to text URI to the number below on the screen. And if you'd like to help us in our mission, remember to stay tuned to the end of the credits to find out more about how to donate. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.